the cap is stainless steel, the coil is also stainless steel, and even the spout is also stainless steel. So everything that's in contact with water is stainless steel, except this silicone gasket here on the cap. And this gasket does very good job at sealing the unit and keep the water vapor inside it. And to seal the unit, all you have to do is to put the top down, and that's it. It's held together only by gravity. So the way it works is it will boil the water and the vapor will rise and will get into the coil on the top of the unit. The coil also has heat sinks that help cool down the water. The fan blows air upward and it draws air from the vent on the side through the coil and out at the top. By the time the water vapor gets to the top of the coil, it will cool down and condense back into liquid and drip down the spout down here. The pot has a marking that says full. When water is filled up to this line, it is exactly 1 gallon. And you don't want to fill it more than this line because when heated up, water will expand, and when it boils, it will produce bubble and therefore occupy even more space. So there will be too much pressure and will spill over. The unit comes with a cleaning agent called detergent, but this is no ordinary soap. Soap will not help you clean out the residue on the pot at the end of distillation. Only acid can remove this kind of residue because it's mostly salts of calcium and sodium. And if you're unlucky, it might also have salts of other heavy metals like arsenic, lead, cadmium, and mercury. The detergent bottle does not say what chemical it is, but by the look of the crystals and the way it works, I think it is citric acid. I also tried vinegar to clean out the residue, and it works as well as the citric acid. The unit also comes with a 1 gallon plastic container. The water that comes out of the spout here, surprisingly, it's not even hot at all. Let me collect some so I can measure temperature. (27.8 degrees Celsius). Now it's time to make some distilled water. My first batch I used tap water. I fill the water up to the full level and let it run all by itself. It takes about 4 hours to completely distill 1 gallon, and it runs extremely efficient. I'm able to get almost 1 gallon of distilled water out of 1 gallon of tap water. That's almost 100% recovery, and that's very impressive. The unit has a heat sensor, and when it runs out of water inside the pot, the temperature inside will rise and the heat sensor will turn off the unit automatically. You don't have to sit around, wait and watch until the end to turn off the unit. It does everything automatically and will turn off all by itself. However, it will let the pot run dry and the residue will be hard to clean. So what I do is I just distill just a little bit less than a gallon so that I still have some water left in the pot. That way the remaining water will still dissolve the residue and make my cleaning job a little bit easier. For my first batch using tap water, I intentionally let the unit run all the way to the end and let it turn itself off automatically. I just want to make sure it works properly because it's my first time using it. And I'm also curious to see what has been lurking inside my tap water. And here's the residue from the tap water. It doesn't look good. I can't imagine drinking a liquid that contains all this. Now it's time to clean it up. The residue on the bottom of the pot is hard as rock. I thought it would be hard to clean, but with the citric acid, it would just dissolve the solid right away. And surprisingly, it was pretty easy to clean, even though the residue was stuck really hard to the pot. For my second batch, I used filtered water, which is filtered by a carbon filter under the sink. And this time I leave a little bit of water left in the pot with the residue to make my cleaning job a little bit easier. The residue is a bit less than tap water, partly because it has already been through the carbon filter. For my third batch, I used the water that has been through 2 filtering steps. The water first goes through my kitchen sink filter, and then is filtered one more time by my bulky water filter system. The end result is a residue that is even a little bit cleaner than the previous batch with just one filter. However, both filtering systems did not remove all the salts in the water, so there's still a lot of salts and residue left.